Donald Trump bleats a lot on Truth Social, and so it can be pretty easy to miss certain things and the meaning baked into them when you're rightly focusing on other insane conspiratorial things that he's saying. I wanna focus on a bleat that he sent out that so far I haven't seen people talking about it, and I'm not exactly sure why that is. Here is what it says. So with the FBI being caught red-handed in Twitter files, totally influencing the Capitol election on top of all the other fraud and irregularities, the fake news media is finding it harder and harder to use the term big lie anymore. It actually angers people to do very bad things. The radical left should be careful in its use of that ridiculous term. The election was rigged and stolen. The unselect committee of political hacks and thugs refused to discuss it, and so it goes. People want answers. I am not a mind reader, and so I cannot say definitively that I know exactly what he is referencing there. But with that caveat out of the way, I know exactly what he is referencing there. If you've been watching regularly on the show, you might suspect it too. Does anyone else get what he's referencing there? People in the media don't want to use the term big lie anymore. They're starting to get scared to use that term. It actually angers people to do very bad things. And the radical left should be careful in its use of that ridiculous term. What's been in the news recently? Well, there's a guy, a Trump acolyte, who ran for Congress and lost by 1 billion points. He had no chance. He started claiming that the election was stolen. And what did people do? Well, they responded with, you have no evidence. You clearly lost. And so then what did he do? He started hiring people to shoot at Democrats in like 5 different instances. And at one point, he was so frustrated with the inability of his hired hitmen to kill the people he was trying to kill that he himself took an AR-15 and fired at one of these buildings. He was angered to do very bad things, and the radical left should be very careful in its use of that ridiculous term. People want answers. I cannot tell you that's 100% what he means, but I think there's a strong case to be made that that's people doing very bad things. You guys are denigrating them and saying that there's nothing to these conspiracy theories that they're talking about. And so maybe they go and shoot up some places. They just want answers. You should be more careful with your accusations of about the big lie. And for some reason, that doesn't rise to the level of the media being worried about what is clearly a defense of political violence. Again, Bridget, this is my speculation. You don't need to be tied into this, but what do you think?
I think your speculation is like, I think it's reasonable to conclude what you have concluded. And I also think in a larger sense, I think that you're completely right that we're talking about political violence. We're talking about the normalization of somebody running for elected office, the election not going their way, and feeling like it's okay to enact violence against them, to go shoot up their house. And I think that we really need to ask questions about what the big lie and election denialism has wrought in our democracy. Yeah. It is terrifying. It is very real. The consequences are very real. We know the kind of impact of this thing definitely disproportionately impacts women of color, other marginalized folks running for office. This kind of political violence keeps folks from running for office. It is really serious and really scary. And Trump just maybe casually alluding to it in this sort of roundabout way is really, disgusting.